Welcome to the show, BroMob. We're your hosts, Chad and Brian. Today is July 27th, and we have some technology. Brian's favorite song in the world.
Yeah, super excited. By the way, this is the first time that BroMob gets to see your ugly mug on the screen, Chad.
Oh, yeah.
And they get to bask in the beautiful smile that is one Brian Davidson. You're welcome.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Indeed.
I've tried. I tried my best.
It also means, Brian, 0 mess-ups. So get ready for that.
Well, let's be clear, Chad. It's not me that messes up. I mean, it's usually you've got to pause it, and I messed up. I got to check my stats. I was definitely off on my research. You were actually right, Brian. You tried to correct me 17 times, and then we have to rewind. So that's
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I never once have to correct you on the player that you have to figure out the name for.
It's not even like, I mean, you could go back and listen to previous episodes. It just doesn't happen.
No.
Because I'm the best.
I wonder why.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Pretty well.
Brains, looks. That's about it.
Okay, 2 things.
Just this, yeah. Appeal. Is that part of looks?
How's that different?
That's part of looks.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Some category. Appeal.
Takes away from brain. Has no brain.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Speaking of no brain, I just went camping in July. And Brian, it was so hot. I don't recommend to anybody to do that.
Well, I'm going to be clear with you, Chad. I don't ever want to talk about hot. We've had these conversations many of times, and it's 100+ degrees. However, while you were camping, I was up in good old Colorado. What up, BroMob? Hashtag Colo. Is there a hashtag we can create for BroMob Colorado? We got some BroMobsters up there for sure.
Colabrod?
Colabrods?
Colabrado?
That's that. Colabrados?
Colabrodo?
Ooh, hashtag Colabrodos. I was up there in Rado just having a good time with one of my buddies up there, and it was nice, man. It was nice and cool, and now back here in the steamy, hot desert of Arizona. I love it.
Yeah, it was in the 90s, humid, and terrible. But it was
one thing I learned, Chad, is as I grow older and wiser, kind of like Gandalf the White, I like, what happens. Not the gray. No, I mean,
not very wise.
I made sure I specified which version of Gandalf.
You're really showing your nerdiness
that I'm aspiring to be. It's kind of crazy that I aspire to be Gandalf the White. I'm just gonna be quite honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, just go with me here. As I learned, my body just has a hard time with elevation. And so there was a lot of clogging going on in the old belly region. And I'm going to apologize in advance to the BroMob if the audio picks up some sounds, because Brian's body's going through what I like to call a cosmic shift of mass proportions.
Also,
I feel like my soul just left my body about 10 minutes ago.
Oh. You don't need to talk about what happened 10 minutes ago. All right, BroMob doesn't.
Just know that part of my soul left me, and I don't know if I'll ever get it back.
Okay, well, that's very good to know.
Yep,
much like your appeal, which is gone too. It's going right down the drain, along with your brains earlier. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Tried to look for UFOs while I was out there, so that was fun. Thought I saw one, but pretty sure I was just drunk. So.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe it was a shooting star.
I also had my fair share of adult beverages this past weekend, so I got that out of my system. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk some fantasy.
All right, let's get into this.
It's our favorite episode, Chad. It's my favorite. Can't wait.
This is my guys, BroMob. My guys, as in mine, his, not yours, ours. What? My guys.
Yeah. I think the only other episode that I like more than My Guys is the Don't You Even episode, which I hope
those are fun.
which I hope is coming up soon. We got to get that. We got to make sure that's on the docket. But
I have a pretty good relationship with the producer of the show. So.
Oh, well, that's always good.
Yeah, it kind of helps. But yeah, we're talking my guys and BroMob. Before we get into it, we have massive. Maybe can't even say words. News. Brian, I'm gonna let you hit it.
So the massive news, BroMob, is today. Key to the Title. All right. Key to the Title is now live. You can head over to keytothetitle.com for $14.99, which is like the cost of one of those crappy magazines. All right. You know what I'm talking about. You go to the gas station. You're like, oh, look, I grabbed some Twizzlers, a bag of chips, Monster Energy drink, and a fantasy magazine on my way to the draft. You don't have to do that anymore. Look, we got it. You covered. For $14.99, you get anything you could possibly need for the draft. You get tier rankings, total player rankings. We've got player commentary in there. We've got strength of schedule, the red zone target list, which is awesome. That is awesome information. You name it, we've got it. It's in there for you. You got to go check it out, BroMob. Keytothetitle.com. Right now, go tell them that Brian sent you, and it's $14.99. If you go and Chad sends you, it's like 10 times the amount. But if you tell them Brian sent you, it's $14.99.
Yeah, you get the Brian special.
Yeah.
You get this one. All right.
It's like a side of scrambled eggs.
Greedy Chad. What?
I don't know.
Where? From where?
Over there, specifically.
Just a place. One side of scrambled
just point
eggs,
at you,
please.
This guy right here. That guy. Just side of scrambled eggs from him. All right, $14.99. Hit me.
Hit me with those eggs.
Hit me. Get into this. $14.99. And Smegs.
All right, BroMob. Before we get into it, after that wonderful news, I don't know how I'm going to follow that up, but be sure to follow along after the show by following us on Twitter and Instagram at FF Bros Podcast. Check out our TikTok page, at Fantasy Football Bros, and be sure to check out the hashtag BroMob for all kinds of fantastical things. Yes, fantastical. And then BroMob, if you haven't already, go check out jointhebromob.com and become an official BroMobster today. Just so much. We love our BroMobsters. Everyone who's out there already donating to the cause, helping us keep this show going. Thank you so much. And I mean, thank you to all the future BroMobsters too. We're really looking forward to having you on the team. So wherever you're listening to us, if it's on Apple Podcasts or YouTube, please leave us a review. We love hearing from you. We love to kind of give you shout outs from time to time. So that's fun to do. We have a little segment for that. So go on there. Let us know what you think. All right, BroMob, without further ado, let's get into my guys.
Nothing you can take and tear me away from my guy.
Except for possibly YouTube. Getting angry about that.
Still in my head, I ain't gonna let it die, my guys.
No. All right, Brian. My guys. This is super fun episode. Lots to talk about here, Brian. We have two players, but for both of us to talk about here. And I'm gonna let you go with your first guy here because I'm a really gracious host. Sorry, and I will let you go ahead and go first.
Well, thank you, Chad.
You're very welcome.
All right. Okay, BroMob. All right, here we go. Quiet down. Hey, shut your butts. All right, here we go. My guy, numero, is that English? Numero uno, Chad, this year at the running back position, one David Johnson. And here's why. So David Johnson, I get it. You're a little nervous. He's had some injury issues. 2018 and 2019, maybe not the best results based on the draft capital that he had dished out for this guy, but he's completely healthy. He finds himself on a new team, Houston Texans, Chad. And, if we just kind of look at what the Texans were able to do in that position as a whole last year, they had two running backs, and they both served their own purpose. Carlos Hyde was really the running back. Duke Johnson was really the receiver out of the backfield. And so if we look at those numbers, Chad, Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde combined for 328 carries, 1,480 rushing yards, 8 total rushing touchdowns, and they added 410 yards through the air for 3 additional passing touchdowns. That would amount, by the way, in a normal league, about 280 points in fantasy, Chad. You're talking those are Zeke Elliott numbers. He had 283 points in half-point PPR last year, Chad. So those are some amazing numbers coming out of the Houston backfield. If we just kind of peel backwards and we look at the last time David Johnson had that much involvement in an offense, we have to go back to 2016. 2017 and 18, he was dealing with injury. 17 is when he got injured in week 1. I know, I drafted him, and he missed the whole season. 18 and 19 just really wasn't never the same running back. It really took him a while to get healthy, I think. And so here he is that year in 2016. He had 293 carries for 1,239 yards on the ground. He had 16 rushing touchdowns in 2016. That's insane. He added also insane 120 targets in receiving, 80 receptions, Chad, 879 yards through the air, and an additional 4 touchdowns. He had 20 touchdowns on the year in 2016. It was ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying David Johnson's going to repeat that. That's not going to happen. He's 4 years older. He comes in at 28 this year. But hear me out. If we look at the Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson numbers, the 328 carries, and let's just hypothetically say here that David Johnson, it's an 80-20 split on the ground. Okay, so for rushing, 80-20 split. If you use last year's carries as a guide, that would give David Johnson 262 carries on the ground. He's averaged about a 4.2 yard per carry throughout his career, which would give him about 1,100 yards on the ground. And I got him chalked in for about 8 rushing touchdowns. I think that's fair with that many carries. Then if you look at his receiving, Chad, and let's just say, look, Duke Johnson is actually a really good receiving back. But so is David Johnson. And I would actually argue David Johnson's better. But let's just say that they split it 50-50, okay, through the air. Because you're not going to bring David Johnson in and pay him the amount of money they're paying him, by the way, and not get him involved in what he may do better than even running the ball, which is receiving. So a 50-50 split based on last year's numbers gives him about 40 receptions, and he's averaged 11 yards per reception over his career. So if you use that number, that's an additional 440 yards through the air, and just maybe you toss him another touchdown or 2. So you're talking about the potential of having 40 receptions, 1,510 yards total, 10 total touchdowns. That's 231 half-point PPR points on the year, which, by the way, is the same amount of points that roughly, it's actually 7 points shy, but is about the same amount of points that Nick Chubb put up last year, who was the RB7 in 2019 for half-point PPR. Currently, Chad, David Johnson's coming off the board as the running back 21. He's coming off the board as the 21st running back off the board in the 4th round towards the end, based on Fantasy Football Calculator's ADP numbers. That's insane value. Absolutely insane. I don't know if there's a running back in those rounds that can give you the upside that David Johnson can give you. And so for that reason, I love David Johnson this year. I think the injury history is real, and that's why I think what you're getting when you're getting him in the late 4th, that's being baked in, and probably being baked in way too much. So I think the risk or the upside far outweighs the risk this year. And I love David Johnson for 2020.
Yeah, it's not just his injury history that's baked in there, but I think when he came back from injury last year, he was clearly a slower back, less effective. So I think people are just worried that might be who he is now. And like you, I don't believe it.
Which is why I have his numbers. I think his numbers that I just gave you, I think are very realistic. And I think they're the floor. I think he could have he could literally break out and have a return season if he can show the burst again. You could have your. This is a guy that he was just 4 years ago. He's drafted as the RB1 off the board. So I mean, the talent is there for sure. The question marks are real. I get it, but that's why you're spending a 4th round pick on a guy. And so I just think in that round, if you're looking for a running back, maybe you've gone 2 or 3 wide receivers in the first couple rounds. David Johnson's going to give you. I mean, he could be a league winner this year for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love him too. I've actually taken him in a few different leagues already this year. I mean, I got him in the double down draft for charity. Right now, I've got him in the Scott Fishbowl Satellite League that I'm in. Yeah, we both do.
Yep.
I've paired him with Saquon, so it's a pretty nice pairing. I have that gamble, but I don't think it's much of a gamble.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, so that's a good one, Brian. I'm going to get into my first one here, and that is, I think I've tooted my horn a couple of times in this guy, and that is DK Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks wide receiver. Look, the guy, what is there not to like about this guy? So in his rookie season, he had 100 targets, was starting to connect with Russell Wilson towards the end of the year there, and we saw what his potential was. I understand that Tyler Lockett was gone, but we saw the potential in the postseason, in the playoffs with Russell Wilson. 10 targets a game he averaged, 100 yards per game he averaged. He had a touchdown a game in the postseason. Things change a little bit in the postseason. I get that. He's not going to get a touchdown a game in 16-game season. However, that would be amazing. But he's just not going to do that. However, I do believe he's going to put up a massive season. He had 100 targets in his rookie year. I think that number goes up to something like 134, 135 targets. I've actually got him statted out at that with like a 61, 62% completion percentage or catch rate, I should say. So he's getting somewhere around 79, 80 targets in 2020. With his 15-yard per reception average, that puts him up at more than 1,100 yards receiving. And I think he has the potential to have a 10-touchdown season with that offense. With Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson that is, has come out and said the words, look, we're planning on passing the ball more this season. And you can kind of see that that's definitely where they're heading with they're looking at Antonio Brown, really investing their time into him to bring him into the offense. Because when you look at what they have there's nothing much more other than Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf there if you're looking at wideouts. Now, tight end, you got Greg Olsen, Will Dissly, very capable tight ends. But outside of that, you have David Moore. You got Jaron Brown, who they're not really going to cut it out for you there in the offense. So, of course, they're going to look at Antonio Brown. Of course, they're going to look at Josh Gordon, who they had last season, to kind of come in and be that third wide receiver for the team. I don't think that hurts DK. I think it hurts Tyler Lockett a little bit there. This guy's going to be an absolute stud. No, he's hard to tackle. He's hard to guard. He's faster than most corners out there. It's in what's the word I'm looking for here, Brian? Impossible for me to think of words.
Yeah, I believe it's popcorn time. I think that's the word you're looking for. Yeah, absolute
popcorn time. Terrell Owens over here, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be putting on a show. Be the one that drafts him. Right now, he's getting drafted in the 4th round as the wide receiver 20, much like David Johnson was for running back there. I mean, it's the same type of value you're getting with DK Metcalf. High upside, pretty high floor, and just great fantasy points all around. In the 4th round, I'm jumping all over him everywhere I can. Brian's listening to this. He knows I love him. I know in our league of record, he's probably going to be like, let's see what Chad does here. Guaranteed he takes DK. But I know in some mock drafts, Brian, I've taken him, and you've seen me take him. I'm a lot bit higher on him than you are. But I just think it's inevitable. That's the word. That he's going to have, in my eyes, a top 10 wide receiver season.
Yeah, I love DK. I don't disagree with you on the talent and what's there. I just look at the team and think Tyler Lockett's going to be involved. So that I just don't see that changing. And I think he was very hobbled as the year wrapped up last year. So I don't think that necessarily is something that you should forecast forward into this year. I think you're going to get the beginning of season Tyler Lockett to start the year. And I do think that if you see an Antonio Brown type guy drafted, I do think it hurts Tyler Lockett, but I also think it hurts DK. And so I think Russell Wilson is not a guy that likes to just whip the ball to one guy and just force feed it. He is a find the open receiver type guy. And so that's why I think it hurts both of them. So I'm interested to see what it's going to look like. I don't think they need to sign a guy. I think they've got everything it needs there, or that they need there, but we'll see what happens.
Yep. So, all right, Brian, hit me with your next guy.
All right. So this next guy here, and I love him. And Chad, I know right away you're looking at him going, "Oh, he went there. He did it."
Yep.
So, and yes, I did. Yes, I did. So,
of course I did.
That is wide receiver Michael Gallup of the Dallas Cowboys. And look, I love him. Here's the thing. So, Michael Gallup is like the guy that everyone's forgetting about, or that everyone's souring on, because the Cowboys drafted a rookie wide receiver that is no joke. Next year I think he ends up being the wide receiver 1 on the team, and that's CeeDee Lamb. And it has pushed Michael Gallup's ADP much deeper, and therefore it makes Michael Gallup in my opinion, it makes him much more valuable now. Last year, let's take a look at 2019 just as an example. Last year, Michael Gallup had 113 targets, 66 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was the wide receiver 22 and half point PPR. Amari Cooper had 119 targets, just for a comparison, and a little bit more yards and 8 touchdowns. So when you're kind of looking at the two, Michael Gallup actually, if you look at from I believe it's week 6 on, Michael Gallup actually outproduced Amari Cooper. Now, I will say Amari Cooper, the rumor is he dealt with injury for most of the year, so I get that. But if you look at the targets that Jason Witten and Randall Cobb vacate on the way out of Dallas, there's 162 targets left behind. And I get it. CeeDee Lamb's going to get a good chunk of those. He's probably going to I have him statted out for about 80 to 90 targets. And I think Jarwin can have roughly the same. Jarwin had 40, I think it was 42 or 44 targets last year. So you can 44. Add 40. Yeah, you can add 44 targets to the 162 for over 200 targets total between the three of those guys. And CD can still get that production, and Jarwin can still have his breakout year with Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper still having 100 plus targets. That's all if Dak Prescott throws for 600 plus attempts again, which I think there's no way possible that he doesn't. He's going to throw for 600 plus. The question is he going to throw for 625, 650, or 675? Because those will make a big difference. But I don't think those targets are going to make a big difference to Gallup or to Amari. I think they're going to make a difference to CD and Jarwin. And the reason I think that is because look, Dak's trying to get paid here. He's trying to get that big contract. He struck out in this contract deal. I personally, I blame his agent. I think it's on him. I think Dallas actually won that whole deal so far. We'll see what happens. But, Dak's going to want to get paid big. And if I'm a quarterback and I want to get paid big, I'm throwing to the guys that I already know. Look, he's going to get the ball to CD. That's going to happen. But Amari and Gallup are going to feed. And because Dak knows what he's getting when he throws it to him. And I just don't see any way that those guys don't have 100 plus targets. I have Gallup for 105 targets on the year, and I have Amari for about $115. And so I think you absolutely can still have a solid wide receiver 2 season out of Michael Gallup with breakout high-end wide receiver 2, maybe even borderline wide receiver 1 potential if a guy like Amari Cooper were to go down. Oh, and look, by the way, Amari Cooper has an injury history. He always has these nagging injuries in his past. So he has missed time. And so that being said, I think Michael Gallup has a lot of potential here. And I really like him coming into the 2020 season as a dark horse, kind of a sleeper guy in the 6th round is where you're getting him right now. At the 603, he's currently the 28th wide receiver coming off the board, Chad. So I think there's a lot of potential in Michael Gallup to outproduce his ADP. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are happy with his production if you're able to get him in the 6th round.
Yeah, production's there, right? I mean, last year he had over 15 yards per reception. He led the team with that category. So he's kind of like the team's deep threat. And Dak loves to throw the ball deep. I think he had the third most deep attempts in the season last year. So Michael Gallup is a steal. People are just hung up on CD. I wasn't believing it. I statted him out. I'm like, man, even if Dak were to throw 590 attempts, which is still a lot, there's still everything to go around for Blake, CD, Michael Gallup, Mari Cooper, Zeke, Tony Pollard. Everybody can feed.
Yeah, I think so too. And especially when you look at historically what a Mike McCarthy team offense has looked like, there's nothing that would tell you that Dak's going to have under 600 passing attempts. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. BroMob, if you want to see these projections, be sure to check out keytothetitle.com. Again, Key to the Title, in our honest and humble opinion, is the best draft kit in the market today. Go out there, check it out. Look at our player projections, values, busts, sleeper picks. They're all out there. Check it out, keytothetitle.com. Brian, I'm going to get into my last pick here. And again, this is a guy that I've went on Twitter and I've tweeted a couple times that I believe that he is the quarterback one of 2020, and that is Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals.
I got to be honest with you, real quick. You keep saying the word tooted, and it's just I'm getting these images in my head. You've been tooting players. Yep. I don't understand why you're tooting them. Can you? Is there something else you can do other than tooting on them? Are you rootin' tootin', or are you like Putin tootin'?
I'm rootin' tootin'. I'm not Putin tootin'. All right.
All right. Well, all right. Rootin' tootin' is much better than Putin tootin'. Let me tell you.
I would say much better than Putin tootin'.
I do enjoy a good Putin tootin' though from time to time.
I don't know why. We're gonna move on from that. I'm gonna move on from that quick.
That's fair.
All right. Kyler Murray, BroMob, Arizona Cardinals quarterback. Look, in his rookie season, I feel as if he had the best, he had the quietest top 10 quarterback season I can remember from a rookie in like recent history. Kyler Murray was able to have a number 8 QB year on standard formats. He had over 500 yards on the ground rushing and 5 touchdowns on the ground as well, to go along with his over 3,000 yards passing and 20 plus touchdowns on the season for his rookie season. Oh, guess what? He stays in the same system, same coach, same quarterback coach, same everything. A lot of rookies get some turnover there. He has the same thing. And they went ahead and they brought in, a top 3 wide receiver in the league in DeAndre Hopkins. So now he has DeAndre Hopkins. He's got Christian Kirk, and Larry Fitzgerald decided he wanted to stay. He's got Hakeem Butler coming back from last year's injury. He's got the speedster Andy Isabella on the team. He's got Keyshawn Johnson. They're loaded at wide receiver. And then we saw David Johnson leave the team. I think it's for the better for this offense. It kind of, the fit for Kenyon Drake is there. And we saw it at the end of the year. In the passing game on the ground, this offense became electric as Kyler Murray started to pick up on it, got better and better. And look, it's got me excited. The moment DeAndre Hopkins got there, boom, the not the Putin tootin', but the rootin' tootin' took off for me. It was wonderful. Kyler Murray, look, I've got him statted out, and I'm looking at it. I want to say conservatively, but I've got him out like 4,600 yards, 38 touchdown receptions, 500 yards on the ground again, but I got about like 3 or 4 touchdowns on the ground. That puts him up at like 360 fantasy points, 359 to be precise in formatting. And that's just 1 point ahead Patrick Mahomes in my projections. I didn't do that on purpose. I statted it out, put the numbers out. Kyler Murray, number 1, Pat Mahomes, number 2. This kid's going to be phenomenal in year 2. This team is going to be dramatically better than what it was the year before. And Brian, right now Kyler Murray's going in the 4th round. If I were to reach on a quarterback and to draft a quarterback in the early rounds, he is the only one that I would do it for. I won't take Pat Mahomes or Lamar in the 2nd round. I won't take Dak in the 4th. I won't go with even somebody like Carson Wentz in the 8th. The only one I will take before the 10th round is Kyler Murray. That's how much I believe in him.
What do you think that the trade that happened today with Jamal Adams to Seattle What do you think that does for Kyler Murray's numbers? Because now he's got a bona fide safety he has to deal with twice in the season on a defense that's really good. Seattle plays Arizona, and Arizona plays Seattle very tough every year. I've been to Seattle, Arizona Cardinals games here in Arizona. They are ridiculous. They're very electric, a lot of energy in that place. It's super loud, and the games seem to be pretty low scoring. So I guess my question is what do you think that does for Kyler Murray? Do you think does that make you want to pull him back a spot or two, or not really?
No, it would be no different than if Jamal Adams were to go to, let's say, the Los Angeles Chargers, right? And he were to pair up with Derwin James as the nastiest safety tandem I've ever heard of in my life. But anyway, I wouldn't bring Pat Mahomes back at all. I'm looking at the quarterback talent, and I'm looking at somebody who has talent around him, and I'm not worried about anybody he's going up against. I mean, he plays Jalen Ramsey twice in the season too. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I think the Jamal Adams trade is a direct result of Kyler Murray and the potential on that team. I think Seahawks saw what the talent is there and said we need somebody to protect over the top so that we can keep this guy in check when we play him. So yeah, I with you. I think the Cardinals are gonna have a great season. I love Kyler Murray. You're higher on him. Not much higher, but you're higher on him than I am. I have him. You have him at QB1. I have him at QB3. I think we both expect a great second year out of him. And I like him more than I like Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, merely for the fact that I think he can give you the same results, but you can get him 2 rounds later.
Yep.
And that's what I really like.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I absolutely 100%. No.
Yeah. So Brian, we're coming up short here on time. Not short on time. We're coming up on a short episode. So I'm going to hit you with a couple of questions that I'm just rattling off in my head because I know that there's some players that you don't like very much, Brian. So I'm going to hit you with a would you rather on one of them. Okay. Would you rather have Odell Beckham Jr. on your fantasy team, or would you rather eat a strawberry shortcake ice cream bar?
I mean, what?
Yep.
Of course I'm eating the strawberry shortcake ice cream bar. Are you kidding me? It's best.
Wow.
One of the best things in the world.
Okay.
The one that with
explanation?
With the nuts and stuff on it. Oh, I'm eating that hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
eating
like
that hard.
Little.
Look, I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of OBJ this year at all. I wasn't a big fan of him last year. I just think there's too many mouths to feed. I do think that his abilities are there. I just don't like.
Oh.
Period.
Okay. All right.
Don't have anything else to say. Do not like him. Next question.
Let's turn it into a fantasy question then. Michael Gallup is your guy. Put your mouth where your words are. Would you take Michael Gallup over OBJ?
Ooh. No.
Ooh, close.
Actually, hold on. Going to key the title right now. Please
Instantly. Holding hard.
I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, I feel like I'm getting an. Are we doing a bros bet?
You want a bros bet here?
We're gonna put $5 on. Are we gonna do 5 on it or what?
What do you want to do? You want 5 on it, or you want a slap bet?
Is it no, I'm gonna do slap bet, not on this.
Oh, okay.
Because I got a good chance of getting slapped, but I'll lose 5 on it. I'll do 5 on it. OBJ or Gallup over OBJ.
Okay. You'll rather you lose $5 than lose your dignity and get slapped.
Correct. I
all right.
Get those doll hairs out of here.
Yeah.
I got 5 on it.
All right.
$5. There it is.
Yep.
Bet from yourself. I'm not even betting you. This is just $5 to whatever.
Yeah, 5 on it. I don't know. Yeah, I would do it, but I don't like. Oh man, I don't like that question. Next question.
Who would you think would win in a fight between Sasquatch and DK Metcalf?
Oh man, this is like last year. DK kills the sass. Actually, I think he actually
Really?
kills him and then eats him. I think he eats the sass.
He eats them too?
Yeah. Look. Well, here's the question: is he fighting sass or is he fighting Hairy Man?
Oh well, that was question number 2. How about Hairy Man?
Dude, Hairy Man's supposed to be bigger than sass. So
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'd have to see. Is DK in off-season mode or is he in primetime, like middle of the season, super healthy mode?
I think he's always in super healthy mode.
Yeah. All right.
I
Hairy
just
Man
saw a video
wins.
of him the other day, like hurdling 16 foot.
Hairy Men.
What?
16
16
16 hairy men. Just juggling them. Oh man, DK's ridiculous. I would never want to fight a man of that stature or size.
Yeah. Okay, who's gonna win between DK and James Harrison?
Man, James Harrison is
the
a guy you don't want to mess with.
No.
I'm gonna take James Harrison because of his street knowledge.
Yeah. I'm terrified of James Harrison.
The world. They might blow up a whole city.
They could.
Like that's like Superman versus Batman. Like that was a rough fight.
Ooh. It was a really rough fight.
Oh yeah.
Unnecessary fight even. But rough.
Don't get me into it.
Yeah, I don't have to talk too much about that movie. All right, BroMob, that is going to be it for today's show. Be sure to tune in every Monday to stay up to date on your fantasy football advice and the world, and to stay up, to dominate. Just dominate your team, okay? Get out there and dominate it.
Yeah, dominate. And you know what else helps you dominate? Key to the title. Look, it's live. It is live. LIVE with an exclamation point, all right? That's how you spell live. Keytothetitle.com right now. Hit it up. $14.99. You get the best draft kit out there in the world. All right. We believe it, and you should too. Keytothetitle.com. Get over there right now. There's most likely a link in like this down section down here somewhere if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something like that, then hey, show notes. There's probably a link in there somewhere. I don't know. Chad does that part. Chad, is there a link down there? Can you click on that?
There is, yeah.
All right, cool. There you go, BroMob. Link. Click it. Boom. Go. Boom. Do.
If you're not listening to us on Apple Podcasts, we're also on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, the whole gambit. We're here for you. BroMob, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FF Bros Podcast, and be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of news, articles, and so much more. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.